All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast.
Man, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Philly
Let's go.
That's right. Welcome in to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Mays and Matthews as we inch ever closer to the Masters and this time of year where now we get to complain about allergies when the weather breaks, as we were doing right before the show started. So talk about Philly golf. It's like always dealing with something. But we are very pro caddy on this program, I would say, Har. Like, I would say we are the most pro caddy program in the world of golf. And we're lucky to be joined by Justin Stopford, caddy, PGA Tour. You work with Adam Long. We know you're a local guy, right? You play on the Rolling Green Gap team, 1912 club. So love to get your perspective on things. We always start with the question of the golf journey, right? Talk us through your entrance into the game up until what you're doing now.
Yeah, fortunate to start at a young age. I think it's pretty important to get the kids going as early as possible. This game's very hard to learn. So the earlier you start, the easier it is. I was lucky my dad was a member at Spring Haven growing up for a little bit. So kind of local media, and Jim Newlon, who doesn't work there anymore, but he did a great job of teaching us and getting us going in the junior game. I kind of stepped away from it, probably going into college, and then got pretty significantly back into it. Got lucky, ended up joining Rolling Green, and I just wanted a place to be able to play golf, walk some holes at night, and just enjoy it. I think started to get more in the competition side of it. There's two sides of the game. We obviously can go out and have a good time and play. I think majority of people do that, but like competition golf is it's a whole other animal. It's a totally different mindset. It's an entirely different strategy you have to follow. And I think for me, I just really enjoyed. I obviously do some mid-am stuff and do some gap team competitions, which fortunately for us is taken pretty serious in Philadelphia. We don't realize how nice the gap organization is. I think we take that for granted being in Philadelphia. It's amazing having the inner club, and all the clubs are completely bought in, gives us access to every club basically in the area. And then people have like a prestige and a pride about it, which I really enjoy. So that gave a lot of, like, every spring. Fortunately, it's in spring, so none of our games are dialed in, but it does give a lot of fun. And I kind of got lucky. It was like we had a Form Tour event during COVID. And I don't know if you remember, I believe Brandon played in that at Rolling Green. Yeah, I think you guys had actually a big part in kind of getting that set up. And I know the next event was up in Scranton, and I believe he was like responsible for helping that even get to that event. But I got lucky. There was a practice round on Monday, and the members were still allowed to play. So I kind of went out there and I was just going to play the last day before the course closed. And this kid, I thought his name was Paul, but it was this kid, Norman Zhang, who I'm still friends with. And I showed up in the first tee and I was like, oh, hey, Paul, I'm Justin. He's like, well, my name's Norman, first of all. So I was like, oh, sorry, dude. So I'm like walking and I'm like, man, this kid hits a mile. Like, he's unbelievable. Like, this dude's a stud. And I just was like the third hole. I'm like, oh, so what are you doing for a caddy? Like, and I had a full-time job, working tech job. And he's like, oh, I don't have one. I'm carrying my own bag. And I guess at that like level is kind of beginning. It was at COVID. No one had a place to play. Yeah. A lot of the guys in there had no status, or was like light LATAM status. And I was like, well, can I caddy for you? Like, I know the course. Like, I can like caddy for you. And he's like, all right, yeah, show up tomorrow. We'll do a practice round. So I showed up, and I mean, I'm a great green reader, but I know those greens like the back of my hand. So I showed up, and like the first day, I'll never forget, I showed up wearing golf shoes on the Thursday. And then like at the end of there, he was so polite. At the end of the day, he's like, hey man, can you like not wear, I didn't have like water. It was raining. It was horrible. We had like a hurricane. It was a washout, incredible event. I'm shocked we even had it. And the guy, he goes, can you wear like sneakers tomorrow? So I wore sneakers, and Norman played amazing. I just remember he would like look back reading greens, and I'd be like, yeah, you're good. Good line. Let's roll it. And we almost broke the course record on Sunday, shot 64. And I think we finished like T8 and then ended up playing the next week up in Scranton. And it kind of got me hooked on it. And I realized like, hey, there's a level to this, and there's a strategy to it, which really, I love like being the mental side of it. So I think the strategy and the ability for me when like I find it hard. I know you can bet money out there and you can play with your buddies, but it's really hard to make it matter. So like when it matters in golf and the ball actually has to go in the hole, not like playing, for betting money or whatever we do on the weekends, but the reality is like when it actually matters and you're playing for your livelihood and career, it adds another level to it, which is so fun to be in. And I think we all see like, I know Brandon, you guys have Brandon, and Brandon's seen the tops and the bottoms of it, but it's like you see the PGA Tour and you see the top guys. We see maybe the top 100, but realistically, you could argue we only care like the top 50, and you could even say that goes to like the top 20. So you see this level where we really don't, you maybe see the issue with Tiger Woods and that gets highlighted, and you see the struggle, maybe Justin Thomas, for example, losing his game, but you don't have any idea how hard it is for 90% of the people out there. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. It is every day they are grinding. They go week in, week out for weeks at a time. If they have kids, it's even harder. You're gone for 4 to 7 weeks at a time. You leave Sunday, go into Monday, you're in the next event, and it's no breaks. And I think it's great when you're like, oh, you're winning and you're doing great and everything's good and you have great sponsors. But that's a minority of the people. A majority of the people, especially at these lower levels, you're asking for 100 grand from friends and family. You're maybe lucky to have one sponsor that covers you. You're barely getting by. Like, I mean, barely getting by. And the PGA Tour is lucky now. It's 5 grand for a missed cut. But it didn't used to be like that. That was just implemented this year, I believe, or maybe last. So now, I mean, on the Corn Ferry Tour, you get nothing. So when you come out and say you're a good player in college or you're decent and you get your first 8 starts out of qualifying, you're down 10 grand the first 2 events if you miss the cut, gone. And that's just like your cost. That doesn't cover the caddy, which is 1,500, whatever it is, 1,000 to 2,000, whatever on the Corn Ferry the pay rate is. So you're just gone. And it's like people don't understand how difficult it is. When you say, "Oh, I'm playing pro golf," and man, it really gave me a respect. And even for Adam, who has, success, he has past champions, he has some money in the bank to be able to afford some stuff. It's still incredible stress of having kids and traveling, and it's 27 weeks a year, this dream job and all this stuff, but it's literally every single day for those 27 weeks. So and I think media only really cares about the top people. But I think when you guys say pro caddy podcast, and you're just pro professional golf in the lower level, like that's because we all know, and I think you're fortunate to have some internal access to it, but it's a complete grind and a complete lifestyle. And it's like the greatest community ever too. It's supportive and everybody knows everybody. It's like we call it like the traveling circus. So it's funny because I'm very fortunate to be in it. And I think I had an amazing, like last year traveling all over the world and seeing stuff, but you have to, I've gained a respect for how hard it is. And when you say you're a professional golfer, it is a full out commitment. You are basically sacrificing everything in your life. I know Brandon has a little girl and like you guys can see it. It's hard. It's hard. And you need to be able to be young or be able to be willing to just risk everything in your life. And then from the caddy perspective, caddies make no money on the Corn Ferry Tour. Top caddy maybe makes 80, 90 grand max. And that's with like, if you set the money record, that's what you'll probably make. So you don't make any money. If your player misses the cut, I was fortunate to get paid pretty good salary, but you might not eat some weeks. Like it's tough. So some of these kids, you have to have nothing or you need to be really, really bought in. And that's the one thing for caddying is some of these guys are lifers, man. You see these guys that get these young bags in the PGA Tour, they put in the work. There is not one younger caddy that will come up and be like, well, I deserve that bag over those guys. Everybody respects them. All these top guys, the reason they have that bag is because they've been there. They put in the work. They put in the time. And like when you're in these pressure situations, guess what? It's nice to have somebody who's just been there. So it's like this. It's been such a great year, but it's really, and obviously I think Adam struggled a little bit, but he's still the commitment and the practice. And everybody understands what it's like to struggle. And when you really see because it feels like you're practicing harder than you've ever practiced, but you're not seeing the results. So you get stuck in this like circle where it's like an endless, oh man, am I practicing too much? What's going on? And golf's weird. Like the more it owes you nothing. Tournament golf owes you nothing. So you need to go in the mindset like, hey, I'm going to put in the hard work. I trust my game. And all you really need is a couple good weeks. That's what makes it's like a. I kind of say I don't like gambling that much, but I will say like I think caddies, maybe even like kind of like gambling addicts in a way. Like every week you're playing in a little lottery. Every week you get to get a little rush from it, and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I have a lot more respect for professional golf as a whole than I did before. I think we only get to see the media, really the public only sees the top.
Yeah.
But I can't emphasize the other side.
I think you made a really good, well, I love the inside perspective. It's great. And it's great for our audience to hear because not a lot of people see it. So I appreciate you sharing all that. And we say it all the time here in professional golf, you lose more than you win. You're losing 99% of the time. So great perspective. But I do want to, rewind back a little bit towards the beginning. You said your first ever looping round, you wore golf shoes, right? So what else have you learned aside from the proper shoes to wear, sunscreen, things of that nature? Tell us, some caddy things that you've learned along the way.
Yeah, so number one rule in caddying is less is more. Less is more. Tournament caddies, less is more. If you're looping, you're doing club caddy, you want to make them happy, you talk, kind of like an entertainer, doing your juggling acts and all this stuff. The reality of it is I'm not the reality is in tournament golf, it's like, hey, this is how we feed our kids. And if you don't have kids, it's how we're going to feed my kids. And I think that mindset is like less is more, be positive, because you nailed it. It's 90% of the time, it's brutal out there. Super hard. Nothing goes right. Can't hit the ball straight. Putts don't go in. It's just like, what is going on here? So you just have to have that internal belief. And that's why I always joke, like the points list and the money list is just a confidence ranking. That's all it is. It's just confidence. All the guys are every day, they work on fundamentals. They practice equally the same, most of them now at this level. It's just what's your confidence level? Like, how good are you in that level? And it's funny because like as I've gone, I've learned, like with Adam, he's so detailed and you can't mess up. Can't mess up numbers. Now, obviously on KFT, they added rangefinders this year, but you can't mess up any numbers. And especially if your golfer's struggling, you really can't mess up numbers. Yeah. So you need to be perfect. And I think he was very easy to caddy for, and I didn't have to read many putts. He likes to get his own reads. But in general, as a caddy, you got to be internal belief and confidence and then positivity. Obviously, some guy, you're doing great. No, I'm not doing great. I just had 2 doubles in a row. I'm doing horrible. And so like sometimes like you don't want to fake it. Like you can't be like, oh, don't worry, man. There's a lot of golf left. Like I think
there's some psychiatrist in that.
Yeah, there's some psychiatrist, but a pro golfer is gonna be like, don't BS me, dude.
Right.
Like I need to get my head out of my what and get going here, because if you don't, you're kind of in a mental spot. And some guys are interesting. You see they beat themselves up really hard and they need that to kind of get back in the boost. And other times it's like, well, dude, as a caddy, you're getting yelled at a lot, and not in a bad way, but sometimes like you're taking the brunt of that because like let's be realistic. Harry, you got to hit a 180-yard shot to make a birdie. If you're mad at yourself, you're not going to be doing that. Maybe some people do, and it's possible, but in reality, like we always joke how golfers place blame on other
Harry's
people.
Harry's never mad at himself.
You never, yeah, you gotta.
Harry's
you gotta
never
have,
mad at himself.
Yeah, never. He's a joy. He's a joy.
He is just cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
You got to really, caddies. You got to be able to take some of the blame, and good or bad. Like it is reality. Is like you want that player to be in a free mindset to play.
Yeah.
And when you're blaming yourself out there, it's so hard to play golf. It's so hard.
Yeah. How long did that take for you to adjust to his personality, meaning Adam Long? Like, you pick up this guy's bag for the first day. Tell us how that happened anyway. Like, how did you meet up with Adam, and how long did it take for you to adjust to say, hey, I figured out how to talk to this guy?
Yeah, it does take a little time. I will say I was working for Braden Shattuck. He's a local guy. We had a great Q school. And then I was fortunate is Adam's old caddy works for Bubba Watson now, introduced me to Adam. I did Adam's Q school second stage. He had, because he had 5 years on on PGA Tour, you get full status for 1 year on Korn Ferry. So we went down for second stage just to try to get his PGA Tour card back. And I was fortunate to be able to kind of do back-to-back. So I got introduced to Adam and went down and did second stage. And I'll never forget, like, I didn't know Adam, like you could say in his prime. He won the 2018 Amex. You don't really know a player like when they're playing, but you can see the parts of the game. And I'll never forget, it was like a couple holes in and I said, oh, great shot or something. And it was a good shot. Like it was a good result, like 10 feet, 15 feet left, good putt. But he was like, no, dude, I missed the ball. Like I didn't hit it good. And so I realized quickly is like, you don't really need to say good shot. Like some guys need it and they want the reassurance. Other guys just like, no, like I'm here to play. My job is to hit good shots. Like I don't need to be told great shot. Like just be. And then for him is every player has their routine. Like I mean, this routine is clockwork. I'm not talking, we talk about morning routines for people and golfers are the ultimate routine animals. Everything, the way you wake up, the way you clean your clubs, the way you put them in, the way you get to the course, the way you stretch, the way you tie your shoes, everything is to a detail. The ball markers you use, everything. So for me, the most important thing is matching that routine as fast as possible. The worst thing for a guy is to come in, do practice rounds, prep, and you don't have the balls ready. You're not ready for chipping. You don't have this. You don't know the order. So number one thing is they don't want to have to worry about their caddy. So for us, it's like, hey, make it as easy as possible. Learn the routine, ask their preferences, know how to speak to them, know when you don't want to be talked to. And like, it was very clear, like, hey, Adam you don't need to say a lot with them. Don't over talk. And your job, Corn Ferry is a little different because you don't have a lot of crowds, but I think at the higher level, your job becomes kind of managing distractions outside the ropes and managing stuff. So for me, I learned quickly with him. He's a great guy to work for, very respectful and very nice, but you got to learn the habits extremely quickly. And I think as a good caddy, you're picking up on the patterns. You're picking up on when things are off, because that routine, you kind of know when it's off. You know when you're not striking it good on the range.
Right.
You know when you're not hitting things good. Hey, we need to hit a few more putts. So it's learning that routine relatively quickly.
Makes sense. So talk about, you said over the past year you had some incredible experiences, got to see some things. What's something that really stands out to you in the past year that was like, wow, this is pretty cool? Could be on the course, could be off the course, just something that you got to experience because of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think we were in Bogota. Amazing city. I'd recommend anybody going there. Awesome courses. And then we did back to back. And obviously we had the Argentinian Open like 2 weeks before that, I believe, or after that. And I kind of got down there and you realize, like, it kind of hit me, obviously, like the PGA Tour event. We have so much golf in the United States, especially tournament golf. We're like saturated. So like KFT events in the United States, unless they're small markets, I mean, they're not many people care, but there's only 8 that are televised. But when you get down there, it just hits you like, hey, these are the biggest events in the continent. That going to the Jockey Club and seeing the Alistair McKenzie greens and the complex and the clubhouse, but more importantly, like seeing the respect that these people have. It's like, this is the biggest tournament they have in their continent.
Right.
And for us, it's like minor leagues. And it's just, they really kind of hit me as like, hey, golf's a pretty global game, and I think in the PGA Tour, and unfortunately it's built around sponsors. So we have to focus on the big money in the United States. And so you see a lot of it just built on the commerce of that, but it gave me like the eye opening, like, hey, like, one, if you win Argentina, you go to the British Open, which is amazing. It's like the most historic tournament, been around for 100 years. So you have these things where it just kind of hit me, hey, it's a global game and there's people that really care about it all over the place.
Cool.
And just the traveling, man. The traveling's awesome. I know you're kind of stuck at a golf course. You don't get to experience that much. It's just literally you're at the golf course all week. But the traveling to different cultures is pretty cool. That's the one downside to kind of coming back to the United States. Some people like the United States, but the traveling is the one of probably the most part I enjoy the most.
Awesome.
Talking about that travel, like the schedule is just a gauntlet, especially on Corn Ferry Tour, and it's not always like you're from coast to coast. You start in Bahamas, then there are like 4 other countries. It's like, what's the worst like travel or horror story you've had? Like missed lost bags, 12-hour drive just to save $400. Like give us a story.
Yeah, it was actually at Argentina. Adam got into Puerto Rico the week after. So we had to leave Argentina. I believe the Eagles, or maybe it was Bogota. I forget. The Eagles were playing in the Super Bowl. And I remember watching the Super Bowl and then flying out that night to try to get to Puerto Rico the next day. And like, it was, yeah, I'm very lucky. We don't have many travelers. I was always good at buffering. The number one thing in caddying, be there. Like that's number one rule. Like make sure you're there. So I think caddies do they're like expert travelers. The rental cars, the booking, getting ahead of time, having 2 flights scheduled, sometimes 3, balancing all that. So for that, I mean, you talk about learning professional golf. You got to learn how to travel.
travel agents.
Wait. There's no private jets?
No,
No
not
PJs?
no, nothing. Like you might have like the guys that are using, like you might have occasionally you'll see the couple guys that get into the top KFT dudes are good, or get into these lower level PGA Tour events. They might charter something from like the Bahamas to Amex. Because for us, we were in the Bahamas. Adam won Amex. We had to actually skip. Yeah, we had to like skip Amex last year to not playing it. So we focused on KFT, because you get caught in this world. If you focus on the PGA Tour and you say you have 10 starts, past champions used to get 15 starts. So you used to be able to like play kind of almost full time on the P. Now you don't get that. So you have to say, hey, if I'm on KFT, I need to focus on KFT, because every single point matters. You don't have time to go back and forth. So you get these guys that are bouncing back and forth, and you can't do that anymore, basically, at all.
No. What would you say is the most underappreciated duty of a caddy? Like for the average person watching a tournament, maybe, like, they just don't know that the stuff that you guys have to do. What would you say some of those things are?
No, at the time at the golf course. Yeah, I think being there, like you're there 2 hours early every time. You're there before the player. You're prepping it. You're walking it. I'm walking the course before Adam even plays the course. You're walking each 9. You're mapping it out, and it's like that's why it's so. You see these. We all have our travel buddies and travel groups, because you're always walking the 9 and staying with somebody and doing it. But the amount of work that these guys put in. I mean, if you're a caddy and you want to get out to the tournament level, be prepared to put in work. Like, prep the golf courses. You're prepping, you're playing 2 18 holes with your guy, but guess what? You're probably walking those 18 holes 2 more times before you even see them. So as a new caddy, that's why you just see these guys getting old school guys when they get up to the higher level, because they've seen it and they've been there. And if you're on a KFT, you kind of want a KFT caddy just because it's nice to have seen the courses. Yeah. But the amount of prep that these caddies do, and just being there, like they're there all the time. Like you don't get any credit, and it's a crazy world. There's no contracts. Right. It's kind of a handshake deal. There's no unions.
There's no union.
There's no union. There's no pension. They were trying to like put a union in for a little bit, but you get insurance on the PGA Tour if you get 10 starts. So you get some insurance. But other than that, like there's nothing. They're putting in more work potentially than the golfer. They're not hitting the shots, but timing wise, they're there more than the golfer themselves.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you've listened to the pod or watched us before, you know that I never let a guest get away without asking them one question. So our final question to you is, what is your favorite Philadelphia or Gap course that you've ever played?
I know I'm like a homer saying this.
You could bank the homer as like you could have it after the homer course though.
Yeah. So like, but I'm like if I'm being subjective, I know I'm at Rolling Green. And if you guys haven't played it, have all 3 of you played it?
Yes, It's incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible golf course. So we're like, it's one of those. Obviously, tier 1 is Pine Valley and Marion. I would argue, and I think we're not the best club. We don't have maybe the best service and all that stuff. But in terms of golf course, and this is like, I'm not even being a homer. This is my real pick. On top, Rolling Green is the course that I would play every day in the Philadelphia area. It's unbelievable golf course, like in every way. It doesn't have any weak holes. You don't ever get bored of playing it. You can play a million routings, 3 holes, 6 holes. That for me, like I know I'm a member there, but I would say it if I wasn't a member. It's that good of a golf course.
It's crazy how much that course and that Form Tour event come up on this show. Yeah. It is wild. It's so many times.
No, because these guys in the Form Tour are playing these, like, we can call them munis. I'm not sure what to put that category in, but they get to Rolling Green, they're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I think the only downside is most courses around here, we have an issue with space. Yeah. So these guys are hitting it so far now. I mean, Brandon obviously bombs the ball, and he's rare what he does, but it's almost like a standard now to have high-end club head speed. So we just can't compete on the distance. He put in some yardage, but I think be interesting to see how Aronimink holds up this year to those days.
Yeah.
I assume they're going to grow the rough out to like 5 or 6 inches.
I would think so. Yeah.
You have to. And then
awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. It was great to get your perspective and kind of behind the scenes on this. I'm sure you got to figure out how you're balancing you playing in Gap matches and
I play in a Maryland team, so I have my first Maryland club state matches on this weekend. Then we go right into Gap team, so it'll be fun.
Awesome, man. Good luck. We'll be looking out for you. Appreciate you coming on. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Great to talk to Justin Stopford, get a little perspective of a local guy who's done it. He did. We didn't really get into it, but he did. I think he caddied for Brendan Shattuck at the PGA Championship.
Oh yeah, a few
times
on the tour when Braden got some starts on the tour. Yeah. He was toting the bag. But yeah, I knew he'd be a great guest. When I played with him a couple weeks ago, we walked together, and I'm like, man, this guy, he can go, man. You'd get him started on a topic, and he's passionate about it. He's very detail oriented, and he's intense. And I'm like, this is going to be a good one. So I'm glad he could do it.
Great guest, and I love that. Just the inside perspective. I think.
Yeah, I knew you'd love it because when he was telling me all this stuff before, I'm like, man, this is Danielle. She's been trying to tell us this for years.
Yeah. So pretty cool just for the listeners to hear that inside perspective.
Yeah. Well, listen, we had a much needed golf timeline cleanse, and that was Gary Woodland last week, right? After all the stuff with Tiger and the world of golf, to have that story with Gary Woodland. Obviously, for those who aren't, totally in tune with it, 2023 finds out he has a brain tumor, and where it is, it's been affecting his anxiety part of the brain, where he has fear and panic, also some seizures that are going on. Has the surgery, famously writes letters to his family because he didn't know if he was going to make it out of the surgery. And everyone on the outside just thinks, oh, he had the surgery, he's good, he's playing golf again. Little did we know, he's dealing with this insane PTSD where he doesn't feel comfortable around people. It just is weighing on him. Yeah. And then a couple weeks ago, he decides, I can't just keep this up, keep this facade. I need to kind of tell people what's going on. And the outreach and the outpouring of love from guys on the tour, just, I think is what fueled him in this win. And to see a guy that's so likable, a guy that's won the U.S. Open in 2019, to come back and get that win and all the emotions of that win afterwards with his wife there. I mean, geez, what an incredible story.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, 21 under par, and it's his fifth win on tour. And like you said, Moose, it's his first since that U.S. Open. It's hard to believe that it's been, going on 7 years since Gary Woodland won that U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. But he birdied 4 of the last 5 holes on the front. And that just really locked in the tournament. Nikolai Højgaard, who I almost picked in my one and done. It was between him and Koepka, and I took the wrong guy. But Højgaard just couldn't get anything going on Sunday, and actually I finished 1 over. But Woodland made a bogey, I think, on 14, and you're thinking like, is
this another Sunday, right? Because it hasn't been safe.
Yeah, the 54-hole leads all throughout Florida were a disaster. Yeah. But he held on to win it and just made some incredible putts. And, just to see the emotion, it was really, really cool. And you really put it great, Moose. I mean, it was a cleansing because of all the things that happened with Friday's news about Tiger Woods. The golf world needed that one.
We really did. I was so excited to see him win. I was like, inject this in my veins all day long. Because 3 weeks ago, seeing that emotion and seeing him in that presser, like Moose said, and saying, he was dying inside and living a lie. And then see him get this win, officially punching his ticket to Augusta. I was like, give me more. It was a feel-good story. And like you said, we needed it. I was happy for that.
No doubt about it. It was. Yeah, I mean, it was so much of the story for me that, the rest of the tournament really did it didn't matter, right? I know there wasn't much movement with some of the guys that were trying to position themselves a little bit better, but to me that tournament was all about Gary Woodland.
And what about the guys standing back and as he's approaching the final green, clapping,
Min Woo, what a move by him, just pumping the crowd up, to be that aware of that in that situation was really cool to see.
Yeah,
Doesn't surprise me.
Talking about it, just so cool to see that respect and just the universal love for Gary. That was awesome. I think those two guys kind of set it up for how everybody else felt about him winning.
Yeah. Any other takeaways from Houston Open for you, Har?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Kiefer is a guy that I've had my eye on since he was on the Korn Ferry Tour, made the jump this year, made a run to third place with a 6 under 64 on Sunday. Watch out for this guy. He's got great talent. Jake Knapp with a big final round, 62. He's hanging around. I think he's going to knock one of these down again pretty soon. And this guy, Yella Miraju, had another good week with a T6 coming off the Korn Ferry Tour last year. And I was talking to Justin when we played golf a week or two ago. He had a lot of glowing things to say about that kid and how respectful he is and how hard he works. So it was really good to see. But I was really just amazed with Brooks Koepka. I mean, he started out 2 under through 6 holes. And before you blinked, I turned it off. I went to do something. I come back and I see he's over par. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? He went +6 on his next 4 holes. Couple of penalty shots, a 3-putt on 10. Then he puts it in the water on 17 again, makes a bogey, finished with a bogey on 18. He shot +5 after starting out 2 under through a third of the golf course. I mean, that doesn't happen much. You don't see that out of a player the caliber of a Brooks Koepka, but it happened. And he was shooting 75 and then missing the cut. I was just blown away because I thought he was ready to really make especially when Scotty withdrew. I'm like, here, this is Brooksy's time to step forward and, get a top 5, maybe knock down a win. Didn't happen.
Yeah. Move on. Stay in Texas. One more week before Augusta. But Danielle, let's spill some tea. I know there is a lot to spill right now.
Yeah. Anything going on in the game of golf, guys?
Yeah, right.
Obviously, we've all heard about Tiger's DUI with some more developments coming out. Breathalyzer obviously showed 0.0 for alcohol, but deputies found hydrocodone in his pocket, which is that same drug from his 2017 arrest. They noted he was lethargic, stumbling. We've seen the photos and him all over kind of in the bushes on his phone. But he broke his silence just 4 days after that rollover arrest in Florida and said he's officially stepping away from the game immediately to seek treatment for his health and well-being. So a total reset, no Masters, no public appearances, and a complete focus on lasting recovery.
Yeah. How about and then Fred Ridley put out a statement as well. Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters Tournament fully support Tiger Woods as he focuses on his well-being. Although Tiger will not be joining us in person next week, his presence will be felt here in Augusta. So that came out shortly after Tiger's statement.
Yeah, and next week, which was supposed to be like a celebration, the opening of the patch, his new short course, plus the Champions Dinner. Yeah. Fred Riley, Augusta National, and I think that the rest of the world is all in support of Tiger, saying just get help, get it back together. It's just looking at him as a person, not even as Tiger Woods, and saying, let's get rid of the pill problem and everything else. We're going to figure it out. Tiger did say he glanced down at his phone for a second, looked up and had a swerve, and that's what happened. But so we saw the state of him. It's like it's a clear.
But you just wonder what's gonna be he's pleading not guilty. He didn't take any tests to prove that,
which was genius, by the way.
Of course. I mean, I'm sure that phone call was to his attorney.
Yeah.
Genius. Attorney from last time, by the way.
Think about it. If you're the attorney, you're like, of course he looked dazed and confused. He just rolled his car, right? So very curious to see what happens. But listen, no matter what, it's on him. Unfortunately, it always comes down to the individual. And he told figure it out.
He's like, I've had 7 back surgeries, 20 leg operations. I'm 50 years old. There's a lot of things that I'm sure can come up in pleading not guilty, but just a vicious cycle. I mean, it's his 4th arrest if we count the one of him smashing into the pole after, the thing with Elin. But, we're lucky.
And he was heading to the course, it seems, right? He was heading to.
I don't know which way he was going. He was very close to his house.
Like 5 miles or,
Yeah. He was obviously dressed for golf. Looked like it. Well, he's probably always dressed like that. But
yeah, he's always got the Sunday red shirt on. He's always
Which, by the way, that blue shirt sold out on Sunday red in all sizes in like 5 minutes.
Pretty fire. It looked good. It looked good.
It was a nice piece.
Yeah, I'm sure that was more than $115 a pop.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah,
I'll bet.
Yeah. Bottom line, I mean, aside from the the painkillers that he's obviously been hooked on, unfortunately, he's a horrible driver of a vehicle and should never be driving a car again. If you ask me, he should hire somebody like me, who's very skilled at driving a vehicle. He's reckless. He's speeding, reckless. He could have killed himself again, killed somebody else. It's totally irresponsible. And I know the golf media wants to tiptoe around this stuff. Right. I mean, he's put people in danger. And that is the biggest thing that came out of me. I need video. Somebody need to have shot a video of him emerging from the passenger side door and crawling out of that Land Rover. That
they said the guys helped him. The guy whose truck he clipped was helping him out of the vehicle.
The power washer guy, right?
Yeah. Not saying, "Oh, I'm injured" or whatever. He was just like, "I saw him coming. I pulled over. Like, I'm fine, whatever." Like,
can you imagine being that guy? Oh my God, this is Tiger Woods.
You look in the car, see you're helping, and it's Tiger crawling out.
Oh no! Yeah. What do we do? What do we do now? So I want to go back to Harry's point about like getting a driver, because that's everybody's response and reply. Everyone was like, "Why doesn't he hire a driver? Why doesn't he?" And just having discussions when back home in Jupiter in the area, everyone's like, because he is an adrenaline junkie, which is why he drives like that. Like, this is the guy that goes free diving in water that is like chummed for sharks. This guy likes to drive fast. He needs that adrenaline rush. And he's also a control freak. He's Tiger Woods. He's not going to say, "Yeah, sure, Harry or Danielle Moose, whatever, drive me around."
And he's cheap. And he's cheap. We know this from past history, from many instances.
Yeah, but I also think it's probably like, ideally you're like, yeah, let me have a driver and have somebody take me around. But if you're on, some type of drug or, mind-altering substance, you're probably not thinking, "I can't drive." It's probably like,
fine.
"Here I am," like, go. And, so it's unfortunate. And hopefully, he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Harry, again, to your point, nobody was hurt.
Exactly.
Right.
Somebody could have been walking, jogging along that road. And it's a tight road.
Whole different story.
Yeah.
No
their dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can stay a little bit on the topic of Sunday Red or Tiger Woods, if you will. So the Augusta National women's team, the Stanford team, some of them will be wearing Sunday Red. So there's no NIL deal or partnership yet, but they're just supporting the brand. Sunday Red sent it to them. So a couple of the Stanford players who are playing the Augusta National Women's Amateur will be wearing it, except for Megan, the reigning US Am champ. She has her own stable of sponsors like Polo, a whole bunch of others. So kind of cool though to see that, because we haven't really seen anybody wearing Sunday Red. So to see it introed into the women's game, I thought was pretty cool.
Carl Phillips wears it. He's a Stanford guy that came from Australia, and I think he was the first guy on the tour to wear it. Now, I don't know if he's getting paid to wear it or he just gets free product. I don't know what the deal is, but he wears it.
Yeah, and obviously Stanford being fitting with Tiger, so kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys,
I'm looking forward to that. I watch that every year now. They've had it. I don't know how many years now, 5-6 years. The women's amateur at Augusta. That's a really cool event coming up this coming weekend.
I always enjoy it too. I think it's a nice little warm up for the actual show, to watch it and see the girls play. It's always great.
Yep. Very cool.
All right, other T. Let's see here. Tommy Fleetwood. So no rotating random hats. He's officially off the apparel free agent market. He signed with Blackstone as their first ever global brand ambassador. So we've been seeing that unbranded like hats, but now he's rocking this private equity look. Personally, I don't love it. I don't like the look of it, but I think like this signing with this massive investment firm is telling us something kind of about like the current state of pro golf. Like, are we trending towards like less sportswear and more maybe wealth management? And did you see the video, which I thought was kind of awkward, of him like picking up?
I didn't see it.
He teased it first, like it was his new apparel, like choice.
Okay,
that's what the teaser was for it last week, and then it comes out. He just puts on this goofy logoed Blackstone hat, and everybody's like, "Well, what's that?" Right? Like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cringy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't love it.
No.
Well, at least he'll be able to get away maybe from that crappy Nike apparel.
Well, he definitely is. He's not doing that anymore.
Yeah,
but I don't know what he's going to wear though. He still hasn't made like an apparel choice, I guess.
JT either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Ted Scott Spotlight. If you want to know how Scotty Scheffler became a machine, golf.com has a pretty cool feature on Ted Scott that dropped on YouTube today. So deep dive into, the man on the bag, who they are saying out of this video might be like the MVP of these last two seasons. So if you guys are looking for some additional golf to watch, check out YouTube and look at that little feature.
Yeah.
Talking about YouTube features, I do want to get into this. I'm over on the west coast of Florida for the Lecom Sun Coast Classic. Say that 5 times fast. And we're staying with our friends over here, and they told me about Mayaca Golf Club in Sarasota, Florida. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it is insane. It's kind of like the apogee, if you will, of the, of our coast of Florida, but it's being called the Australian Sandbelt of Florida. Think maybe a Royal Melbourne, but in Sarasota, 1,100 acres, pure rugged golf, 0 homes in sight. They have a no rough rule. It's the course is 0 rough. It's wall to wall, zoysia grass. So you put 50 yards off the green, a place made for me if I'm missing it.
Nice.
But it's a Dana Fry design, which is the guy behind Aaron Hills, but Paul Azinger is a lead consultant. So he's saying it's a gold standard of Florida private golf clubs. Wow. 18 holes. They built a 12-hole par 3 course. I guess they're going to have cattle out there
grazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think I heard there might be like cattle or some sort for the logo. So excited to see. But there is a YouTube tour with the USGA president. So go and watch that. They moved 3 million yards of sand to make flat Florida ranch look like a links course. So ultra private, ultra expensive. I can't remember what they said initiation is, but kind of ridiculous, probably $1 million or something for founding members. And officially, I think the coolest thing being built in the state right now.
Mayaca.
Mayaca. Yep.
Yeah, Miakka. Yeah, it does look like a longhorn steer is kind of in the little logo that I'm looking at. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the cattle will be like grazing on the course and stuff. So maybe Florida's trying to compete with Philly for our embarrassment of riches down here.
Great. I could hit a cow when I play next time.
Yeah.
At least you won't take out somebody's window or a house or like
right.
for Florida golf,
Lay it where it lies.
Thinking that when I was out at Jonathan's Landing the other day, I'm like, if I hit a window, is the golf course responsible for that? Is a homeowner's insurance pay for that? Who pays for that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry, you might be in danger. Are you in the fire zone on your house?
No, because we're behind the tee, so they're hitting away from me.
Yeah. So unless Tiger's there, not knowing where he's at, and teeing
right.
Off,
yeah. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, that's primarily all the tea that
all right.
I had.
A couple other things too. I just saw this come out this morning. Right, the biggest complaint for TGL with the players, Mike Manavian was talking about it, was the technology, right, with Full Swing.
Yeah.
And apparently it's being updated or replaced with Shot Scope LM1, which is a $199 unit that is going to show. I think they're still going to have all the other stuff to show, but all these guys care about is like where's the ball, how far did it go, right? Like all the other stats that they're trying to get, like the players don't care about that. This dials in on where the shot really goes, so they're working that in to replace it. But that was the biggest complaint. It's so funny. Like you see the guys like looking like, where did that go? And I'm like, okay, but they also do that when they're on the tour. But there was way too much of it for it not to have presented itself as a problem. And I think Tiger owns that as part owner of the Full Swing stuff, so there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
But now they're working this other unit in to get stuff dialed in. So that was
what is that unit called again? I'm going to go.
It's called Shot Scope LM1.
$199.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the Masters, Harry. I know you want to talk about the coverage. I'm sure you want to highlight the Jason Kelsey portion of the coverage. Is that what you wanted to talk about? Or?
No, Actually, I'm not going to watch on Wednesday for the par 3 tournament, since you alerted me to the fact that Jason Kelsey is now going to be a part of the broadcast. ESPN, if you give him enough time, will ruin everything. And they are now ruining the Masters. Okay?
Just let the Masters do the Masters.
Exactly.
They're so good at it.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable.
Talk about the rest of the coverage, though, Harry.
Well, yeah, they've got a couple of new broadcast partners, as you know, like, we're starting to see all this, the world of streaming is now, been upon us for a couple of years, but it's now, gone on into the Masters, and they start on Monday. And I start on Monday with I can't get enough of Live From on Golf Channel. That's still going to be there for you. But now you've got CBS Sports Digital and Paramount from noon to 2. You can watch On the Range on Monday. So if you're chomping at the bit to just see pros playing golf and hitting balls at Augusta, you can start at noon to 2 on Paramount, and that will continue on Tuesday. They start at 9 in the morning, 9 to 11 on Paramount. You can also watch all this stuff on Masters website, masters.com. They have an app. It's terrific. But then the practice rounds on Tuesday on the ESPN app, you can start watching that at noon. Live from is every afternoon and every night on Golf Channel. Wednesday, of course, you've got the On the Range with Paramount. The practice rounds start at 10 in the morning on the ESPN app. And then the par 3 contest, which I'll be skipping this year, but starts at noon and goes till 4 o'clock on the ESPN app, the Masters app, and ESPN TV from 2 to 4.
The Masters app is so perfect.
It is really good.
I don't know how they have the greatest technology ever. Like nothing, everything always works.
There's no buffering ever. It's perfect. And you can watch, all the par 3 holes on there. If you want to just watch, let's say 16 or 12, you can just tune it right in there on the Masters app. Now the actual broadcast of golf for the first round is going to be on Prime Video. So they're in with Prime as well from 1 to 3. Wow. You can watch the first round, and then ESPN TV picks up after that and takes you for the rest of the day from 3 to 7:30. Okay?
All these boomers at 105 trying to figure out their password, panicking.
Exactly. That's the point. You got to get ready for this because it's here. It's on Paramount. It's on Prime, and then of course the Masters app, and then on the weekends you get to CBS. We'll have it on Saturday from 2 to 7. You can watch it from noon to 2 on Prime or Paramount prior to that, and the same with Sunday, noon to 7 on masters.com, Paramount from noon to 2, and then CBS from 2 to 7, all the way to Butler Cabin, Moose.
That's it.
We love Butler Cabin.
I love Butler Cabin. Well, the last tournament before the Masters, which I kind of feel bad for the Valero Texas Open sometimes. It's like, right, it's the only thing that stands in your way. Last stop before Augusta, TPC San Antonio, got Brian Harman defending. We'll see the line with our friends from BetParx for sure. But yeah, this is, the field's decent, right? You got Oberg at the top, Russell Henley, Tommy Fleetwood, Jordan Spieth, Matsuyama.
Yep.
Big game Bob Mack, Siwoo. Yep. So yeah, solid field in this one. A lot of wind you get here, usually in this course.
Yeah, a lot of wind. It's a tough golf course. The wind is a big factor. Greg Norman designed this back in 2010, par 72, 7,438 yards. The greens are Poana, overseed. It's 6,400 square foot average, so they're pretty good sized on the PGA Tour. The fairways, approaches, and rough are rye, overseed, and fescue, going about 25 to 30 yards wide. Second shot golf course, 64 sand bunkers, 3 water hazards, and they're in play on 3 holes, including the 18th hole with that creek that meanders up alongside the green and gets in the way of some guys' second shots going for it in 2. But you remember that 16th hole, the par 3 with the bunker right in the middle of the green. That's a pretty cool feature. 17, you got the drivable par 4 with the huge bunker, the deep, huge bunker on the left-hand side of the green. And then 18, the par 5 with sort of a soft double dog leg with a tricky tiered green and stay out of that little creek that always seems to rear its head for some of those final guys trying to make the push on Sunday. So good, tough golf course. They get wind. It's going to be really tough and a good field.
That's right. And that's the course, of course, brought to us, of course, by Buy My Balls. Check them out. Big things happening at Buy My Balls. We're talking to those guys this week. They're doing a lot in the club space now. Yeah. So those are some smart guys making some good moves in the world of golf, and we're excited to continue our partnership with them. But check them out. It's time to stock up. Right now's the time to start loading up for the season. A lot of great deals out there. Make sure you check those guys out. All right. Well, when we see the line with our friends at BetParx, I actually took Alex Noren. I like him at that 3,900 number from a betting perspective, but I took him in the one and done. I also like Maverick McNeely here. Great course history at that 2,500 number, and Siwoo, right? Yeah. It's not a great number at 2,000, but as we mentioned earlier, Colin Morikawa has withdrawn, so that top of the board got reshuffled when you look at BetParx. But what are you guys thinking here?
Yeah, I like Siwoo. I'm taking him in the one and done. Just a terrific ball striker. I think that's going to prove out over 4 days on this golf course. Rio Hisatsune, I'm taking in a top 20. And then I'm going with Sudarshan Yelamaraju in a top 20. How about that pronunciation there?
Man, look at that back to back.
Yes, we're
Love that.
Rio Hisatsune and Sudarshan Yelamaraju.
I love this. I love those plays. I love those plays for sure.
If you could have seen me this weekend rooting against Nikolai Højgaard, it wasn't even just about Woodland. It was about Højgaard could not win this tournament because I would have had back-to-backs. That's how twisted my head gets when I'm watching these tournaments. I'm not about the good story that was Woodland. I'm just like, Nikolai, you better not win this damn thing.
Harry, have you done any more walking? We know
Yes.
you're a big bag-carrying walker now.
Yep, absolutely. Carried 9 holes yesterday, threw it over the shoulder. It's terrific. And I'll be doing it probably again tomorrow because then I'm playing at Doylestown with a couple of buddies on Friday, and then 1912 we got a foursome for 9:30 in the morning. That'll be in cart. You can't walk now that the season starts today, and posting starts today too in the Northeast. But we can't walk until 2:00 or after now. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually think I'm playing Bluestone this week. I've never played.
Oh
it.
yeah, I played there. Yeah, it's up near me. Yeah, Bluebell.
But not much else. Danielle, the clubs, lessons, what's going on? Are we paused right now? Where are we?
Of walking at the Lecon Classic this week, so I'll be racking a spectator steps this week and hopefully weekend as well. So resume lessons once back over to our coast and things kind of calm down. But yeah, over here for the KFT this week.
Beautiful. Good luck down there. And thanks again, Justin Stopford, for joining us. And let's get out there. It's golf season. It's here.
Yeah.
Get out there and swing it and ding it.
Oh, and I'm going to see our buddy Scott Miner over at the PGA Tour Superstore. Remember, he guested a few weeks ago. He actually got quite a few people come in that listen to the podcast that have been fitted by him. I'm going over there for a little wedge fitting in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's fun.
So,
that's fun.
Yep.
Love that. Beautiful. All right. We'll be back next week for the Masters week. See you then.